The launch of the new social media app Threads is raising a lot of questions. Is it the new Twitter, or are we simply addicted to social platforms? Here to weigh in is social media expert Matthew Gilbert with Coastal Carolina University. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So within hours of its launch, Threads had 30 million people sign up. I think even Zuckerberg was surprised by that. What do you think?
I think he might have been, pleasantly. Yeah, that was something I heard. I was really impressed with that. I know for me, when I signed up for like a pre-launch, by the time I got on, it was somewhere around the 2 million, somewhere that was my number. And I think to some degree, though, I don't want to say it was cheating, but because Threads works from Instagram and it basically parallels your Instagram account, I think to some degree that was sort of priming the pump, and I think that's why maybe it went so quickly, because people were kind of already there. But it's actually one of the benefits of it, or the advantages that it has, because it's pulling from an existing platform where people are already heavily engaged.
And so with Threads' objective really being a real-time conversation, what makes it stand out, and could it be the new Twitter?
I think in many ways it could be the new Twitter, although to some degree it's a slightly different demographic. But I think what makes it stand out is at least the promise or the potential that it will be kind of a friendlier, safer space. To some degree, Twitter is a little bit of the Wild West, and it's kind of degraded a lot in the last year or so. But where I think Threads, and by association Instagram, really has a leverage point is that it is overseen by Facebook's community standards. Because so much of Twitter is anonymous, that really fuels people's sarcasm and vindictiveness. And I think when you're anonymous, you're more comfortable being rude, basically. Instagram, because it's so heavily used, and because people's profiles, for the most part, there are bots and some fake accounts, but when people use it, it's their name, it's their brand, it's their reputation.
What do you think on that topic of Elon Musk's impact on Twitter over the last few years?
In short, I think it's been a disaster.
Okay, tell me how you really feel.
I mean, had challenges before. But I think it's really taken a nosedive since. I think for a lot of the things that he's done, a lot of the things he's undone, a lot of the kind of behavior that he's encouraged.
Okay, if it's not the new Twitter, do you think it could make Twitter obsolete?
I think to some degree, yeah. And I think Twitter might just self-implode, to be honest with you. It's not so much that it will put it out of business, so to speak, but Twitter is sort of dangling by a thread. And I think Threads, and by association Instagram, because it's part of the Meta empire, it's got a stronger base, and there's more of a foundation that's broader than just one platform. If it can evolve in a proper way that provides value and gives people a soapbox that is a quality platform, it will present itself as either an alternative or just something new that is viable to a lot of different individuals and organizations.
How are we, as a society, going to keep up with this many social media apps? Do you think we're heading towards a way of, we need to have one space where we can manage all of our accounts?
Well, there are those apps and there are those platforms now that do allow you to post to a variety of different platforms from a central place. But it allows me to post to 3 different platforms, which for me is enough. Interestingly enough, I used to post to Facebook, to my professor page is what I call it, my LinkedIn page, and Twitter. And in the last 6 months, a year, I really stopped posting, at least automatically, from that account. And now you can post to Instagram from that same platform. So now I have Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I've kind of dropped Twitter, and I do it more one-off. I do it more, manually.
That was social media expert Matthew Gilbert weighing in on the new Meta app Threads. Tomorrow, we look back at the history of social media and discuss what the future could look like. That's tomorrow, only right here on WMBF News, first at 4.